You know, when you're looking at a glass of wine, have you ever stopped to think that there's a secret story hidden inside? A story that's being told not by the person who made the wine, but by the vine itself. For centuries, we've only been able to hear bits and pieces of that story. But now, thanks to some pretty incredible new tech, we're finally starting to understand the whole thing.
So let's get right into it. When we think of a grapevine, we see the leaves, we see the grapes, but the real power, the hidden half of the story, is happening completely out of sight, underground. The big mystery we're going to unravel today is how this invisible root system, the part we never even see, has this massive control over the health, the energy, and yeah, even the quality of the grapes that end up in your glass.
To really appreciate this leap forward, you gotta understand the old way of doing things. For decades, if a scientist wanted to know how a vine was doing, they had to physically clamp a device onto a single leaf, just one. It was painstakingly slow, and it gave them just one tiny piece of a giant puzzle. But now, we've got the new way. Instead of one leaf, a special camera can scan the entire plant in just a few seconds. We're going from slow and incomplete to fast and comprehensive. And that, right there, is a total game changer.
To understand how this all works, we have to start at the very source of the vine's power. We have to look at its hidden engine.
And that engine is something called the rootstock. Now think of it like this. A well-known grape variety, say Marquette, that's like the body of a car. It's what you see. But the rootstock, that's the engine it's built on. It's a different root system that the vine is grafted onto, and it controls everything. How fast it grows, how tough it is, how it deals with stress. A good engine means a better performing vine. Simple as that.
The problem, and this has been a headache for growers for a long time, is that picking the right engine is incredibly hard. As this quote from way back in 2005 points out, it's a complex and lengthy process. Breeders have been trying for generations to find the perfect rootstock for the perfect grape, but it's been mostly guesswork and a whole lot of waiting.
But what if you could change all that? What if you could give scientists a kind of superpower? Something like X-ray vision for plants? Well, believe it or not, that's pretty much what's happened. This superpower is called hyperspectral imaging. Now, our eyes see three basic colors, right? Red, green, and blue. This camera sees in hundreds of colors. It captures light waves that are completely invisible to us, way out in the 400 to 1,000 nanometer range. And this X-ray vision is the key. It lets scientists see the hidden chemical signatures of photosynthesis, which is how a plant turns sunlight into energy. They can literally see how well the plant's engine is running.
But, having all that visual information is like listening to a language you don't understand. It's just noise until you have a translator. And that's exactly what artificial intelligence is here. The AI acts as a universal translator. It takes millions of these complex data points from the camera and almost instantly decodes them into a simple, easy-to-read report card on the vine's performance.
So here's how these two amazing pieces of tech work together. It's a pretty slick three-step process. First, the camera scans the vine. Second, a specialized AI model crunches the light signature from every single pixel of that image. And third, boom! It spits out a full health report, predicting key metrics for how much photosynthetic power the vine has. It's a deep look under the hood without ever touching the plant.
Now this all sounds great in a lab, but the real question is, does it actually work in a real-world, muddy, messy vineyard? Well, let's go find out. It's time to put this technology to the test.
Researchers at South Dakota State University set up this fantastic experiment. They took one grape variety, Marquette, and they grafted it onto 6 different engines or rootstocks. They even grew some Marquette on its own roots to act as a baseline. The goal was pretty simple. See which rootstock made the Marquette vine run the best, and, this is the crucial part, could their new high-tech camera and AI system actually tell the difference just by looking?
And they were really thorough about it. This wasn't just a one-and-done kind of thing. They collected data over 2 full growing seasons, 2022 and 2023. They took measurements over and over as the days got shorter to see how the vines held up under changing conditions. They really wanted to make sure their data was solid.
So, after 2 years of scanning and analyzing, it was finally time. Time to decode the secrets that these plants had been whispering all along.
And the results were, well, they were crystal clear. There was a huge difference between the rootstocks. The vines grafted onto the 3309C rootstock were the clear winners. They had way more photosynthetic power. Their engines were just running hotter and more efficiently. On the other end of the spectrum, the 5C rootstock had the worst performance of the bunch.
So the first major conclusion from the study was undeniable. That hidden half, The rootstock matters a lot. It's not just holding the plant in the ground, it's an active engine that has a massive, and now measurable, impact on the vine's entire energy factory.
Okay, so the roots make a difference. We got that. But the bigger question, the one that could change the future of farming, is this. Was the new tech actually accurate? Was this so-called X-ray vision for real?
The answer really came down to a single, powerful number. The model's R-squared value was 0.60.
So what on earth does that actually mean? Well, in plain English, it means that the AI, just by looking at the images from that special camera, could explain 60% of the real-world differences they measured by hand. In a complex biological system like this, for a brand new technology, that is a huge, huge success. It works.
Look, this is way more than just a cool science experiment. This breakthrough connects directly to the future of farming and to the quality of the things we all eat and drink.
So why should you care? Well, for one, it means we can now find vines that are more resilient to climate change, things like drought. It also means we can breed better, more efficient plants way faster than before. It helps farmers pick plants that are more sustainable, that get the most out of every drop of water and every ray of sun. And yeah, at the end of the day, healthier, more efficient vines have the potential to produce higher quality grapes, which could lead to even better wine.
As the researchers themselves put it, their work shows the substantial impact of the rootstock on the rest of the plant. They didn't just prove that the engine matters, they gave us an incredible new tool to finally look under the hood and see how well it's running.
So for the first time ever, we're not just looking at plants anymore. We're actually truly listening to them. We've built this universal translator that lets us understand their secret language of light. And that just leaves you with this one last really exciting thought. Now that we can finally listen, what other secrets are they waiting to tell us?